so whip number 1 is done, and I did kind of choose the easiest, but it wasn't fully the easiest. And I'm gonna say it doesn't look the greatest, but the hole is fixed. So in my blanket over here, and I'm not even gonna point it out, I showed you guys in the video before this, but so the video tutorial that I found originally to help me fix this was in Stocknet, and this is garter. So I kind of took the concept. I'm sure it didn't turn out as good as it could have, but really, like, it's a blanket, it's in garter stitch. You'd have to like really be looking to notice the mistake in there, the hole. And so at least like the stitches are secured, it's not going to get bigger, and project 1 done off of my list. So down to 11, because in the last video I think I had said I had 11, and then I found another one. I found some striped socks that I need to work on. So back down to 11 because number 12 is done. So I wanted to give you guys a whip update. I am working on the Ossify mitts here. So the holdup for this one, there's a few holdups for this whip. So here it is. I'm using the Pullover yarn, and while I do enjoy knitting with the Pullover yarn, it's a bit scratchy, so it's not like motivating to work on it, because like I just don't think I'll really wear these because they are so scratchy, but maybe on mitts. I am trying to get them done so that I can give them to my niece, who we're gonna go up north and visit in Canada in just a little bit this month. And so I'm trying to get those done to give to her. Shipping to Canada is a lot, and so if I can just get them done and bring them up with me, that would be phenomenal. So there's so much cable detail in these mitts. I was a little bit nervous. I could not find my pattern. I had to reprint it, and I have so many notes on that pattern. So I was like, yesterday, I was actually thinking about frogging these. And then I'm like, no, I'm just going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try. I do enjoy the process of these a little. Like, I go through spurts where it's like, it hurts my hands, I'm done, I don't want to knit on these anymore, and then I want to pick them up. And like, I just picked them up and started knitting, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm glad I didn't frog it. But here's the thing, is that I did not have my notes. There's like multiple cable charts on these. So I figured it out, and I'm just like so excited that I was able to figure these out, where exactly I was and everything on these. And like I had that, I counted all the rows on the back, and then I looked at the chart on the row that I did before, like the row before where I was that I had just finished, and everything came out exactly as is. Like, so double confirmation from counting, from where I was in the chart, everything. So I picked up and I started a row, loving these a lot. So I'm really hoping, I think I just have a few more rows, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 more rows to work for the top of the mitt, and I think it decreases pretty quickly. So I'm gonna try to finish that up. Who knows, I might even get to the thumb today, but I've finished, you will have seen, I've finished 2 whips. I finished my comfy Cozy Comfort throw, the one that just had a hole in it. That one is actually here behind me. And then I also finished the socks for my husband that I'm knitting in the Knotty Pine yarn. I think it's Crisp Amber Ale, I think is that yarn that I finished those in. So I have 2 projects down. Wouldn't it be amazing if I can get 2.5 by finishing this mitt today? I really don't think I have that much time. And the thumb appears just to be knit in stockinette, so hopefully that'll be really easy. But I've never done mittens before. I've never done a thumb. So thanks for joining me on my whips journey this January. I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I hope you guys are getting so much done on your whips too. I definitely want to see them. Just another reminder to you can either send me an email with your whips so I can see them, or you could post it on Instagram and tag me and use the hashtag that I mentioned below, or that I've mentioned before. So yeah, bye you guys. Hi you guys, so I am checking in with you guys, giving you some whip progress as I'm working them down in January. I've been so tempted to cast on new projects, and I'm holding strong. There are 2 sweaters that I want to cast on. My daughter, when we were in Canada, she expressed this, she saw this super cute sweater and she's like, Mom, I would wear that if you made it for me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like whenever the kids say that, I want to knit it for them, because like I'll knit them socks, but they don't always show an interest in a finished knit item, just for whatever reason. But she saw the sweater and wanted me to knit it for her. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like I can knit the sweater for her. But anyways, so I'm holding strong. It is so hard to hold strong because there are so many things that I want to cast on. But that, like on the same token though, that kind of gives me the motivation to keep going and work these down, because it is feeling great. So I've worked down 3 full projects completely off the needles, and then I've made progress on some other ones. So I'll show you guys that. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first one is sitting behind me here. This blanket, remember I mentioned that it had a hole in it, and I'm not gonna point it out, but I did patch that hole, and that was like the first thing that I finished actually, because it had just been sitting there and it had like just kind of been eating at me, like just that my blanket had this hole in it. I was worried that it was gonna grow. So the tutorial that I found to fix a hole in a blanket was more for like stockinette stitch, and so it didn't really work with this. I tried to kind of use the same concept and just made sure that I secured everything that I could secure so that it wouldn't grow. If you look close enough, it doesn't look great, but it's a blanket, it's in garter stitch, really not that noticeable unless you're looking for it. So that is number 1. Number 2 is these socks that I only had the toe left of and 2 weave-in ends. So these here are completely done. I did tell my husband not to wear them yet until I vlogged, so, but here we go. And here's my puppies over here coming to say hi too. Hi, honey. Hi. Hi. Apparently she likes the knit socks also. Go on, go on. Let's go. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled program. So these are the socks that I knit for my husband. I asked him not to wear them yet because I wanted to make sure that I could vlog them. Those are all done, ends woven in and everything. So 100% done. Okay, so I think in the first video, in my intro video for my vlogs, I said I had 11 whips. And after that video, I found another one. So I had bought some birthday yarn. It's a self-striping yarn from Freckled Whimsy, and I bought the yarn, split it in two, bought both my friend and I the 20 gram mini skein, the contrast color to go with it, but then I split the 100 gram skein in two so that we could each make a pair of socks. So I picked those up, and I had only had the cuff done on one, and then I had started the cuff on the other because I wanted to work concurrently. So I think that's all I had, or maybe I didn't even have the second cuff cast on. I cannot remember, but that's all that I had on that project. So we just recently got back from visiting my niece up in Canada. So she married a Canadian, and with the borders being closed the last few years, we've not been able to go up and see her. So we made the trek up there. We flew into Seattle and then drove up to Canada. It's just easier for us to fly domestically and then go over the border, just drive over the border for us. And they live like literally just right on the other side of the border. So, so we did that. So I had a lot of knitting time. Like the plane ride was like just an hour and a half. And then the car ride though was 2.5 hours there. And then after that, we drove down to near like Vancouver, Washington, near kind of that area, to visit my other niece who got married in March. And so we just got to kind of just see where they're at, like where they live, their community, that kind of thing. It was really, really fun. But that drive from Canada down to the Vancouver area is about 5 hours or so. And it was raining, so I didn't get as much knit time in as I wanted. And plus I had to drive a little bit, but nonetheless, I got all the way to the toe and then realized that I didn't bring my double pointed needle. So I'd finished these socks. I'm going to show you these socks. That was a really, really long intro into my socks, but I just wanted to give context. But look at how cute these are, you guys. They're so fun. And I just feel like self-striping yarn just knits up so fast. So, okay, this is why I was telling you all of that, because as we were sitting at the Canadian border, I had on these cute little Chuka rain boots, and they're shorty boots. And I thought, man, it would be so fun to have some knit socks that just kind of barely show up at the top. I just don't know how I feel about knit socks that kind of come all the way up with shorty boots. I know people do it and it looks fabulous. I just don't feel like I can pull it off. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh gosh, like this is perfect for these socks because I only have 50 grams of this yarn. And also they get done faster, but then I have so many long socks and I don't really have that many like shorter socks. So they're not full shorties, but they just kind of go up a little bit. And I got both of them done, you guys. So when I got home from our trip, I just finished up the toe, wove in the ends, and they were done. So another one done. So this is project 12 in the big scheme of things, but number 3 that I got done. So I love these socks. I cannot wait to wear them. And like for once, I actually brought an adequate amount of knitting with me on my trip. So I almost finished these socks as much as I possibly could without getting creative. I was feeling like I probably could have gotten pretty creative with the 2 9-inch circular needles that I had, but we were coming home like that night and I just didn't feel like it was that necessary. So could have done that. And so how I knit these, and I don't know if anybody else knits this way, but I knit these on 9-inch circulars, and I did them concurrently. So what that means is like I did a cuff on one, I did a cuff on the other. I did a leg on one, a leg on the other, heel, heel, and then I kind of like broke up the foot a little bit on each one and just kind of go back and forth. And what that helps me to do is make sure that they are the same. It also gives me the motivation for that second sock syndrome, which I don't struggle with too much, but I know some people do. So for me though, more than anything, it helps me to make sure that my socks are identical, especially like when you're doing self-striping. And so what I realized on these, you'll notice that these are done like backwards basically. So like they stripe in different directions. And I did that because when I did this sock here first, and then I had this color starting on my second skein, but when I wound them up, I guess I was not diligent enough that there was the same amount of this brown yarn at the beginning of each ball of yarn, because when I'm doing self-striping, I split that ball of yarn in half, and I really try to be diligent about splitting it at the same color point. So really what I should have done is I should have started with this second color on both, because I had the full amount of that color on both of them, but I didn't realize it until it was too late. So instead of being one stripe off or like having a half of stripe of that brown on this one, I just started pulling from the middle of that skein instead of the outside of the skein, and purposefully did them like backwards basically. So that's what I did on those. Just a little tip or trick in case you run into the same problem. Okay, another progress that I've made in these last couple weeks, I guess it's been about a week and a half. Today is the 12th, so almost 2 weeks actually. I really was hoping to vlog every Tuesday, but with our trip to Canada, it just didn't work out and there was no place for me to vlog at all. So, okay, so my Ossify mitts, I have closed one up, and then I just have the thumb left on this. And I did consider just ripping it out because, okay, look at I think part of it is the yarn that I used, but like they are so long on my arm. Remember, I was gonna give these to my niece in Canada, and then I just kind of overthought it. I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to. And so I made her something else actually instead. I made a macrame plant holder for her, which if you watched my Vlogmas, you would have seen that I was making a lot of those. So anyways, but yeah, that's where I'm at with these. So I'm gonna just go forward with them, even though they seem a little bit long and weird. The process is really cool, and I think because of this yarn, I'm using the Pullover yarn, I think it would just really be hard to take out, and it would just kind of be a waste. So I'm just gonna enjoy the process of it, see how they go from here. I don't really know like how I could modify this pattern because it's like such a distinct pattern, but I think that the yarn that I used just made it a little bit bigger all around. But they're really pretty, and it was a fun knit. I feel like if I had messed up, I would have definitely been able to tell. So I think the cabling and everything on these is great. Yeah, super fun. So hopefully like when we go up to Tahoe and stuff, like it'll be, just really keep my hands warm. And who knows, they may make it to my niece at some point, but so progress on this whip. Okay, and then, oh, I have 2 more things to show you progress on. They're not done. So I've completed the 3 projects, the 2 pairs of socks and the blanket. So 3, so I'm down to 9 projects still on the needle because I did have that 12th, right? Yeah. Okay, so the next one is my Advent, and this is my own design, but look at this is all that I have left. I don't know exactly how many colors. It looks like maybe it's 4 or 5 more colors left. And I don't even know where I was the last time. And of course I'm in the middle of a row again. So silly, but this is silly. This is where I'm at. I may have been, I feel like I was farther along, or not this far along the last time when I podcasted. And if you guys have not seen these yet, I can't remember if I showed these or not. Okay, look at that adorable Progress Keeper. My son had these specially made for the initials of Back Porch Fiber Co. He had these specially made and gave them to me for Christmas. So when I opened these up Christmas morning, I cried. Like, I literally cried. There's just something about like somebody else recognizing the business that you've been pouring your heart and soul into. Like, and for my 14-year-old son to do that for me was just the sweetest thing ever. Like, it literally just made me cry. But anyways, okay, so I think I was like down here somewhere. So I've made a few inches of progress on this. It's definitely not turning out as long as I was hoping it would, but I think after I block it and, you know, finish adding all my yarns and my cast off and everything, it will be. But anyway, so this is a pattern in the works, and it will have a I-cord cast off as well. So I started with an I-cord cast on, and it'll be also have an I-cord cast off, and then just slip stitch edges to give it this really, really nice edge. There's some short row shaping in here as well to make it longer in the back area. But it's just a big like wrap, campfire wrap kind of concept. But I'm really loving working on this project, and that's all I have left. So I think I've worked through like 4 or 5 colors since we've talked last. But I haven't been working on it as much because, as you can see, I'm finishing the other projects. So then the next thing that I've worked on is that Starfall sweater by Jennifer Steingas of Knit Love Wool. And this is what it looks like. And I am to the point where there is some, so I've knit both sleeves all the way up. I've knit the body and like all the way up. And so right now I am doing some short row shaping. And then after that, I will be connecting the sleeves. And then it's just this color work section, and then I'm done. So I'll show you where I'm at with this. So this marker is not an indication of where I was when I went over this the first time. That's just a marker that I've been enjoying using. I gave this marker away in for my birthday month for November with every order, either that one or this guy here, the stitch marker and the Progress Keeper. So but I'm loving this yarn. It's so soft and fluffy and very, very lightweight. I have just really been enjoying working with this yarn. And I do not have the ball band, but oh, yes I do. It's a Drops Sky. And it feels like it should be a fingering, like when you look at the yardage on it. Let's see, it's 50 grams and 207 yards, 50 grams. Which tells me that it should be like a fingering weight yarn, but the composition of it actually makes it more of like a DK weight yarn. So I think I went up a size in this, in the pattern, because I don't know, like I was just nervous that maybe my yarn was not as thick, quite as thick. I don't know. But it's working out. I think it's nice. Yeah, so I've made some progress there. Not a whole lot, but I have made some progress. So this was the second project that I took with me while we were traveling, and I just worked on it like the very last day that we were there because I couldn't go any further on my socks. So I did make some progress there. So that is it. The next ones to get off my needles, I'm hoping will be my Advent. I'm really hoping that that by my next check-in, this one will be off the needles. I don't think this one will be off the needles. Just because of the color work yoke, but I am really enjoying it. And that's like actually one of the latest projects that I've been working on, or that I cast on. So it's not an old project by any means. I'd really like to, wishful thinking, finish the beanie that I was working on. It's just that Purl Soho cuffed beanie or something like that. So I am kind of hoping to have that done by the next time that I check in. The Advent done. And let's see, if I had to pick to get 3 projects done in this next little bit, I'm gonna pick one of my crochet projects. I think either the little bunny that I was working on last time, or the shawl, the big triangular moss stitch, seed stitch shawl that I was working on. And I think in my last video I had talked about, like, I'm not quite sure what exactly the moss stitch is, because like it just feels like it's a single crochet, but it's a single crochet chain one, single crochet chain one. And so now I understand. I'm still learning a lot about crochet. But I'm still super interested in what you guys are working on. I'm trying to get through emails and comments from while we were away. So if I haven't responded, my apologies, but I am working on it. And yeah, please tag me on Instagram. And I love seeing what you guys are working on. I love that you guys have all this confidence in me of how many projects I can finish. A lot of you guys said all of them. Some of you guys said I could finish like 7. Some of you guys said I could finish, I think, 9. So I love the confidence that you guys have in me. And I'm just gonna keep on going. But it was really great to have this extensive amount of knit time while we were on vacation. And like literally I'm sitting there working on these socks, and like I couldn't remember like when I just had that much knit time just to sit and enjoy the moment, enjoy conversations, and we played games, and just to be able to sit and knit. It was so amazing and such a great time. Like it was raining most of the time that we were up north, but it was also raining here where I'm at. In California as well, like a lot. So it was actually raining less where we were than where I live, which it's typically the opposite. But anyways, yeah, and then like our flight, we didn't have any flight issues or anything, but then the next morning, I guess there was a whole bunch of FAA stuff going on, and like all the flights were delayed and shut down, and so we like literally just made it home. So we were super lucky with that. But anyways, okay, that's it, you guys. Tag me. I want to see your progress, and thank you for all the confidence that you guys have in me. And until next time, I'm shooting for 3 more, and hopefully I can vlog in another week for you guys. We have nothing else on the docket, so we'll check in next time. Bye, you guys. Good luck.